You feel that chill creeping in? That ain't the wind. That's the holler breathing. Go on. Pull your chair a little closer to the fire, but don't sit too close. 'Cause tonight's story comes from deep under Carter County, where the ground don't rest easy, and the caves still sigh like a living thing. They say a woman roams those tunnels, her hair twisting like black smoke, moving in a wind no one can feel. She don't scream, she don't speak, but if you follow her, she'll lead you somewhere dark, somewhere you ain't meant to see. So toss another log on that fire. We're gonna need the light for this one. You're listening to Kentucky Melody, where the stories burn slow and the night listens close. Out here, we don't need no fancy lights or gadgets, just a good fire, a brave heart, and the will to keep your eyes open when the woods go quiet. So settle in, friends, let that fire breathe, and listen close. 'Cause this one comes from the ridges above Carter Caves, where the smoke still moves, and the witch still watches. Now, this was long before there ever was a park, back when them ridges was wild country. No signs, no lights, no park rangers, just miles of thick timber and black hollers where the fog never burned off right. You could wander all day and never see another soul, except maybe a buzzard circling or the glint of something watching you from the tree line. And beneath it all, them caves ran like veins through the earth, twisting and curling underfoot, cold as a tomb and twice as quiet. Up on a high bluff, right above Cascade Cave, there sat a crooked shack, built from hand-hewn logs and stubborn will. It leaned a little, like the mountain was trying to shake it loose, but somehow it held on year after year. That was Sythie's place. Now, folks could never agree what she truly was. Some said she was a healer, knew every herb in the hills and could cure what the doctor couldn't. Others swore she was a witch, claimed they'd seen lights dancing in her windows at night, and heard voices echo from her holler when there weren't nobody down there. She didn't take kindly to visitors. If you wandered too close, she'd just appear in her doorway, standing still as a post, watching you with eyes darker than coal dust, eyes that didn't blink near as often as they should have. But she knew them caves, knew every crawl space, every drop, every breath of cold air. Folks said she could walk down into the deep without so much as a lantern and come out the other side like she'd been guided by something unseen. While big, strong miners, men who thought they owned the earth, would get turned around, lose their way, and near smothered trying to find daylight again. Sythie used to warn them, said, "Leave the stone be. Something ancient sleeps under there, don't wake it." But you know how men are when there's money in the dirt. They laughed at her, said she was just an old woman spooking folks to keep her hills to herself. So they dug, they blasted, they cracked the mountain open like a chest bone. And that's when the ridges started to hum at night. Not the wind, not the trees. No, sir. This was deep, like the whole mountain had a heartbeat. Some nights it thumped slow, and other nights it groaned low enough to rattle windows down in the valley. Then, one evening, folks saw a glow licking up through the pines. Sythie's shack was burning, flames taller than the roof, sparks raining down like the devil's own fireworks. They said you could smell it clear down in the valley. Wood, hair, and something sharp like burnt sage and sour iron. The fire burned so hot it lit up the cave mouths below, turning the stone walls red as fresh blood. When it finally went out, there weren't no body, no bones, just a scattering of twisted iron charms and a smoke that wouldn't quit, hanging over the ridge for 3 whole days, curling and drifting like it was looking for her. Most figured she was gone, but she weren't. And after that night, the humming stopped. Only now and then, folks swore they could hear breathing coming from the mouth of the cave. Slow, heavy, like the mountain was waiting for something to wake again. It started a few weeks after the fire. First, it was hunters who saw her, up on the cliffs right above Cascade Cave, standing against the moonlight like a cutout in the fog. They said she was tall and lean, wearing a dress that fluttered like ashes in a breeze that weren't even there. And her hair, Lord, her hair rolled and twisted like chimney smoke, curling and drifting slow, black as soot, but never dispersing. One feller said he watched her from his deer stand, and when he raised his rifle scope to get a better look, she turned her head toward him. Didn't move a muscle otherwise, just turned slow, like she'd known all along he was watching. He said the look she gave him made his insides crawl. Didn't see no eyes, just 2 hollows darker than night. By the time he lowered the scope, she was gone. No footstep, no sound, just a thin wisp of smoke drifting off the cliff edge and vanishing into the trees below. Now, others claimed they saw her deeper in the caves, moving just past the glow of their lanterns. They'd catch the shape of her skirt disappearing around a bend, or the sound of bare feet slapping against wet stone. And sometimes they'd hear a faint hum echo off the rock walls, like a tune half remembered and humming itself. One park ranger followed her once, said she was standing in the main chamber where the air turns cold and the ceiling drips like rain from stone. He called out to her, and she turned. Didn't walk, didn't step, just glided into the tunnel ahead. He followed. Said the path twisted tighter and tighter till the light from his lantern started going dim. The air got heavy, foul like rot and sulfur and something wet and old. Then he blinked, just one blink, and when his eyes opened, he was outside, standing in full daylight, mud up to his knees, sun burning down on his face. No memory of how he got there. Said his radio was missing, his lantern smashed. He quit that week and never spoke her name again. Years later, early 90s or so, a group of teenagers went poking around by the underground stream. They'd heard the old stories, thought they'd get a thrill. One boy wandered ahead of the group, calling out about a woman in the dark. Said she was smiling, but she didn't have no face. They heard him laugh once like he was joking. Then the laugh broke off, like somebody had clamped a hand over his mouth. They never saw him again. A week later, a ranger found his voice recorder half buried in the mud beside the stream. It still worked. Old tape hissing soft like it was breathing. When they played it back, all you could hear at first was the slow, uneven breathing of someone who'd been running. Then a woman's voice, low, whispering, over and over again. They opened the deep, they opened the deep, they opened the deep. Each time, her voice got rougher, like she was coming apart while she said it. And right at the end, there's a sound, a deep, drawn-out inhale, like something big breathing in after a long, long sleep. Now, folks still argue over what really happened to Sythie. Some will tell you she weren't evil at all. that she's still out there, guarding whatever ancient thing sleeps under them ridges, keeping it locked away where no light dares to go. Others, well, they say she was that thing, that she'd been hiding down in those caves for longer than any of us been drawing breath, and when they burned her shack and scattered her ashes, they didn't destroy her. They just woke her up. Either way, it don't rightly matter, 'cause that smoke still drifts out of them cracks some nights, thin as thread, black as sin. Rangers'll tell you there ain't no fire in them hills, but folks keep seeing it. Coming out of the ground in little curls, slipping along the rocks like it's got a mind of its own. And if you're unlucky enough to be in the caves when it happens, you'll hear it before you see it. Footsteps, wet ones, like somebody sloshing through shallow water but never catching up to you. You'll stop to listen, and the sound will stop too. Then it starts again, closer this time. And if you feel a warm breath on the back of your neck, right where the air ought to be cold enough to frost your lungs, don't you dare turn around. Some say that's her breath, drifting close, sniffing to see if you're the one who woke her. So, if you ever find yourself down there, deep in them tunnels where the dark don't have an end, and you catch the faint smell of burnt sage hanging in the air, where there ain't no candle, no campfire, nothing at all, don't stop, don't call out, and whatever you do, don't follow the smoke, 'cause it ain't leading you out, it's leading you in. So, what do y'all think? Was Sythie a wronged woman turned guardian of the deep, or the very nightmare she warned us about? If you've ever walked through Carter Caves and felt that heaviness in the air, like the earth itself was listening, share your story down in the comments. We'd sure like to hear what you felt in the dark. And remember, friends, when the fire burns low and the smoke starts drifting toward the trees, watch it close. If it moves against the wind, best pack up and head home. If this tale set your spine to shivering, go on and hit that like button and subscribe to Kentucky Melody. Join our Backwoods Believers for members-only stories, early access, and ad-free episodes. You can even send us your own ghost story at kentuckymelody.com. And maybe next time we'll be telling your tale right here by the fire. Now, friends, a little patience if you will. I work a full-time job with plenty of overtime, so sometimes it takes me a spell to write, voice, and stitch these stories together. But everyone y'all send in gets its turn, and I promise, when it's ready, it'll be worth the wait. Until then, keep your lanterns trimmed, your heart steady, and your eyes on the smoke.